Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. In this video we're going to be testing whether there's any benefit to rinsing your car down with your pressure washer with just water prior to snow foaming. So we're going to do a 50-50 test to get an answer. And I want to know what's your opinion on this as well. My opinion going into this test is it's much better to put your snow foam onto the car dry, as it were, without pre-rinsing. And I'll explain why after the VT. Cue the music. Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel, guys. Before we get started, if you're an existing subscriber or new to the channel, hit subscribe and hit the bell icon notification next to it, because that's really important. It tells you about the videos. Without that, your subscription feed is all wonky. So very important. Today's subject of discussion, okay, should you rinse the car first before snow foaming, basically, under pressure? Now, the reasons for rinsing first, hopefully you can see that. Oh, God, don't make me start again. Don't make me start again. Yeah, we'll do this in one take. The reason for rinsing is removes, this is the argument I hear, it strips off that top layer of dirt, so it exposes more of the dirt that's closer to the panel. Okay, that's the argument for. Removes loose dirt, I guess, so that you can hit the bonded dirt with the detergent, and then that makes the rinse, the pre-wash, more effective. Removes loose surface dirt. So let's try and describe that. It also, water has a wetting effect, so it's going to soak out the dirt, and soaking it out with water will be of benefit, potentially. Soak effect of water. Don't worry, we're gonna cover the counter. Some of you will be chomping at the bit to counter some of these points, rightly so. You know, and you could also, an argument is if you've got big chunks of dirt, like you've driven through a muddy field, you know, you can free those up. You know, free up huge chunks, free up the huge hoogie chunks. Now, I can't think really of any other reasons for, can you? Maybe there are some, but that's what comes to my mind. Now, against, hopefully you can see this. Oh, it's a horrible thing, isn't it? Against pre-rinsing, but doesn't matter. Pre-rinse, pre-wash, you're pre-rinsing the pre-wash. The first reason here is that the dirt that is on the surface, the road film, dirt road film, is not really adequately cleaned with that pre-rinse. It needs emulsifying. You know, there's resins in there, there's dried solvents, there's petrol and diesel in there. So when road film dries, it almost forms like a dried film that needs emulsifying. You know, those hydrocarbons and stuff in the film, the petrol, they don't mix with water. So a surfactant will act as an emulsifier and allow the water to penetrate and soften it and mix the two together. So dirt and road film, not, I guess, emulsified well with water. They don't mix generally. You know, pure mud does, for example, but road film generally doesn't. I've shown in that other video the effects of just pre-rinsing, pre-soaking with water are very negligible. Okay, now road film, water does not wet out a surface. Well is the key word, because it does wet a surface. Saying water doesn't get things wet It's obviously very dumb, but it doesn't wet out. It's not as good a wetting agent as a surfactant. It's a key quality. What do I mean by wetting? Well, make wet. Make wet. So get it wet with water. So you put water on it. How is water not a good wetting agent? Well, water has quite a high surface tension. So if you fire some water on the side of the car, it will tend to kind of, or better example, sorry, put a drop of water on a panel and it will just form a drop of water. Put a drop of surfactant on a panel and it will spread, a good surfactant with really low surface tension, over the whole test panel and wet out the entire surface rather than just wet out where the droplet of water is. So that's what I'm talking about here. So water on its own does not wet out a surface as well as a surfactant. Kind of. So there's two big arguments there. 1, 2, 3. Another thing, going back to oils on the car surface and cleaning, surfactants will saponify, turn to soap, all those oils that are on the surface of your dirt film as well. Water cannot saponify. It's just water. Again, it's a quality of surfactants. You put an alkaline surfactant with an oil and you get soap. So that's saponification. It's probably not even a word. So saponification. Oh God, I hope I got that right. Water can't do that. The next thing, what's the next thing? The next argument, you're wasting water. In light of all the above, so water on its own isn't effective. The water that you blast, water waste. The next thing related to this is therefore you are wasting time. You know, going around spraying it with water if it's not effective. The next thing, test. Well, we're going to do this test in this video, but when I've tested this before and soaked a car out with water and then hit it with the pressure washer, there was very little difference, very little dirt taken off. So we've done a similar test before, but this is a more comprehensive 50-50 test. 7, now this is a big one. When you put a film of water over the car, so imagine this is like your bonnet here. And, I don't even know if you can see this, yeah, you probably can. And then you put a film of H2O over the surface. Then, the red is your surfactant, your foam, that comes in here. You know, and really the film, you could have a big thick layer of foam, but the water the surfactant has to mix with the water to get to the surface and get to all the dirt that's on here. As it does so, the dilution of the product is going to get dropped, and I think it gets dropped quite a lot. I'm not sure what, but I'd say maybe up to 50%. You know, finger in the wind, guess. Put in the comments whatever you think. I think it gets dropped massively, but it also, the further down you go into the layer of water, the weaker the concentration is going to get. So it's going to get more concentrated up here and less down there as it mixes through. Okay, so that's another reason why it's bad. So film of water lowers effective PIR. So you get a lower PIR. The next thing is water is wet with higher surface tension. When you lower the PIR, when you mix it with water, you're creating a wetter film on the surface, which I think is going to slide off the car. I noticed that when I foam onto the side of a car that's dry, you get a better stick, you know, you get a better clingage, which I don't think is critical, but it definitely happens. When the car's wet, it tends to all kind of slide off it, especially if you've got thicker foam. So, the sliding effect. Less cling, I guess, less cling. But, as always, the proof is in the pudding. So I'm going to go out and show you the state of this car. What we're going to do is rinse off with a bit of pressure, like you just would, and then on one side and then foam the other side. Let them then foam back over the wet side as well. So we'll water rinse one side, foam the other side, foam the wet side, leave it for 5 minutes. We don't want it to re-dry again. And then blast it all off and do a comparison of the lower seals where the dirt is. So let's go and have a look at the cars. Okay guys, forgive the camera work, it's going to be windy and wobbly. Now, we have lovely film here. Lovely film. It's hard to see on this grey car, but it's covered plaster. We have a little clean bit there, don't know why, it's someone's foot. It's with my little girl. And a lovely bit of film here. Hopefully you can see that. Just get the zoom. Lovely. And I'd love to be able to do a little test on this back bit as well, because that's really filmy. And over on this side it's really filmy as well. So, you know, well, it's about the same. Yeah. So, I'm going to set up a time lapse. Which side should we rinse? We'll rinse this side. We'll rinse that side first. Oh, you'll see. Just going to come off the time lapse to show you kind of the difference. This has been pressure washed. That side hasn't. But it's got wet. So I'm going to pressure wash it all just to sort of show you what happens. Look. Here we go. That's quite close. I wouldn't go any closer than that. So you can still see. I can see it taking some dirt off, but so the argument that it lifts some of the loose dirt, you know, is definitely true. Now we got this in here. This is Autofoam, used at around 3 to 7 or 1 to 2, just a little bit less than 1 to 2, 3 to 7. So it's going to be somewhere between 2 to 3% PIR, and it's going to come out very thick and foamy. So shall we? I'll put the time lapse back on and just show you foaming both sides of the car. Okay, so we put this on thick. It's usually a lot runnier than this, but it's okay. And we're going to leave that for about 5 minutes, just so it doesn't dry. That's the key thing. It'll have done its work within 5 minutes and we'll blast off. Okay guys, this is going to be really shaky camera work. Let me go left-handed. I just want to try and capture this on camera. So let's have a look along this bottom strip. Okay, here we go. Okay. So that's done a good job. You can see the dirt film there, and then the car, but that is not 100% clean. There's that little clean patch there, and you can still see we have some dirt. So now let's go over to the other side. I'd imagine it's going to be pretty similar. Let's start somewhere in the middle. You know what? It's better. I think. It's just better. It's definitely better. Look, it's getting it all off. It is definitely much better. Bit of tar there. I'm telling you that there's the dirty bit I haven't sprayed. There's the bit I've sprayed. That is not 100% clean, but it's closer. It's virtually there. I'm now happy to wash this panel, and even down here, it's cleaner. It's absolutely cleaner. Look. There's no doubt about it. In fact, it's quite a big difference. There is quite a big difference. There's a big difference. I'm not as dumb as I look, I tell you. I've been saying this stuff for years. I need to clay this car. Full of spots of contamination. Tar. But that's virtually squeaky clean. Let's go inside. Take the tripod. So guys, those are the results of the video. The conclusions are, for me, that it was the side where I went on dry, didn't pre-rinse with water, was demonstrably cleaner. You know, you could actually see the difference with the finger than the side that we pre-washed with water. So maybe some of the conclusions, some of the preemptive stuff we talked about was true. And I think it's not BS, is it? You know, soaps and detergents and surfactants clean. That's what they're there to do. So, but the water, the addition of water seems to inhibit it. Yes. That first pre-rinse where we're blasting the side of the car with pressure when it hasn't been soaked with surfactant is not doing that much. It's doing a tiny bit. You can see a bit shift, but hardly any, because it can't emulsify that layer. So once the surfactant's done its job, you know, it comes off a lot clearer on both sides, but I think the surfactant can do its job better when you don't put that film of water down there. So yeah, there is, you know, my advice and my recommendation is don't pre-rinse the car with water if you've got sort of like a moderate road film there. Maybe if you've got masses of mud and stuff like that, then maybe, yeah. You know, my recommendation is always as well, do what you think's best, because it's only car cleaning. I thought it would be a little bit closer, and I thought I'd shoot this and there might be nothing in it, and it would be a non-video, and it'd be like, well, yeah, it doesn't really matter, guys, do whatever you want. But no, for me, it's definitely better to go on dry. For all the reasons I've said, I want you, if you're watching, to comment what you think. I want you to do this test as well. Do this exactly the same test that I've done. Do exactly the same test and see what results you get. And let me know in the comments, because no one's got a dog in the race here. The really important thing for me is I would be happy now to do the contact wash on one side of the car, the side where I went in dry, but I wouldn't be happy to do the contact wash on the side where I went in wet, because there's still film there, okay, and that's with my Autofoam, which we know can really clean well. So it does seem to make a difference. I'm actually going to take touchless now and go over the whole car again, really soften the dirt down, and get it to the stage where I'm happy to then go and do the contact wash, because I think that's very important. So yeah, really interesting video, and it's one of those videos where I learned something as well. I've been saying this for a fair old amount of time, that I didn't think it was a good idea, and I thought your product works better if you go on dry, and this relatively casual video has demonstrated that, and I'd be really interested in your findings and your thoughts on this one as well. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe. I've got to go and finish washing the car now, but it's summer's coming, it's a beautiful day, and I'm actually looking forward to doing the switch and getting out in the black peril. I feel like I need a coffee, I need a Starbucks, I need a big, filthy, dirty coffee rumbling in the guts. Thanks guys. If you like this video as well, as I said many times, give it the thumbs up and subscribe and comment, because that really keeps the chain of interest going. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when you